Hello, my name is Peyton, and this is my video submission for week 4's Aristotle discussion. I apologize, I feel like I'm going to be talking a little fast. I realize I cannot say all of my notes in one video, but I'm going to try my best to be short and sweet and just keep it to my key points, and I will submit my notes separately. So first of all, the good old times theory, I thought it was really interesting and fun to learn about, especially that there is a specific philosophical theory regarding generational bias. Just the other day, actually, my grandma had mentioned that her dad in the 50s had made a comment that kids at that time had a bad taste in music. And my grandma was like, I don't know what he's talking about. You know, I love our music from the 50s, blah, blah, blah. But then it was ironic because we were watching the Grammys on Sunday, and my grandma had said essentially the same thing that her dad would have said. You know, she was like, I don't understand your guys' generation's music taste. So I just thought it was funny and ironic, and that this theory exemplified that, that interaction. But I do also think that generational bias has a big part to play in our society. I think that, something as silly as iPad kids to, how much you were outside growing up. I think that Gen Z would probably say that Gen Alpha didn't spend enough time growing up outside, whereas I am positive that millennials would say the exact same thing about Gen Z. So I like to learn about that theory. However, I do think we can all agree that the good old days was not during Socrates' time. It is crazy to think that people were put to death over just thinking about what is life and ethics. However, getting into the actual theories, I originally believed that I was going to more so align my ethical beliefs with Immanuel Kant, who I did my week 2 research on, in that ethical reasoning is an individual process that you have to determine your own right and wrong. However, then I heard Aristotle's theory during this week's video, and I was like, well, shoot, I believe that too. I do believe that you have to grow up with a role model to learn ethics, and that when you're raising a child, you should be teaching them how to be kind and ethical and how to reason so that they grow up to be kind, ethical, and reasonable adults. And finally, I also really liked that Aristotle's theory specifically identifies that ethics aren't just your beliefs, but they are put into actions, and that a person's actions reflects their ethics, their morals, what they believe is right and wrong. And I think that, you can think one thing is right all you want, but if you're not acting in correspondence with that virtuous belief, then you're not truly ethically correct. So it makes me wonder, can individuals believe that two theories are right? Because I don't think that either one is necessarily wrong. So overall, I thought this was a great discussion. I liked learning about Aristotle's theory, and thank you so much. So have a good rest of your night. Bye-bye.